This is Sam Spencer reporting live from Damascata at the site of the Lincoln County Democrats' Lasagna Extravaganza. I'm pleased to be joined by the man of the hour, newly elected State Senator Chris Johnson. Chris, thanks for joining me. Chris, you ran for this seat, District 20, in last election, 2010, and you lost, I think you got about 32% of the vote. And this time, in a special election, a couple of days ago, you got about 54% of the vote. That is an amazing turnaround. How did you do it? That's what everyone's wondering.
Well, obviously, no two races are the same. I think that there are a number of factors. One important one is that I was an unknown starting in that 2010 election. And other than the people that knew me from my work in the town of Somerville and the school board and regional school board, people didn't know me. But because of knocking on thousands of doors then, I got a start on that. This time around, I started several months early as well and knocked on a lot more doors, organized gatherings of people and met a lot more people. And I think that all of the people that I met in the process, that's part of the difference. My name was more recognizable around the district and on people's tongues. But I also think that aside from all that work and becoming known, that people were really ready for change. They'd seen what was happening in Augusta since the 2010 election and saw lots of things that they weren't happy with. And
did they ever mention the governor?
Well, yeah, from time to time.
What do they think of him?
Well, I guess the toughest thing, I don't really like to point fingers, and blame on things, right. But I will say that more than one Republican came out to meet me and said something like, I won't be voting for another Republican until the governor's not in Augusta anymore. So obviously that's not representative of every Republican. I think there are a lot of considerate and thinking moderate Republicans out there to which what I stood for, the kinds of approach that I would take instead of what's happening in Augusta, made sense, and it should. I mean, obviously I'm working hard to find out what's going on and understand the issues and what people's concerns are, what they're living with, and based on being as informed as possible, coming up with what might be the best thing for the people.
Right.
And I think that they understood that.
You just got sworn in. Have you been assigned a committee yet?
Nothing officially yet.
Okay.
Unofficially, the word is that I'll be on Marine Resources.
Oh, that's a great committee for you.
It's a great one for this district, yeah. And I'll be, actually, I'm planning to meet with some people starting on Friday, as a matter of fact, because there's a Fishermen's Festival. Maine Lobster Association has their annual meeting, and there are other groups, and there's a session during that afternoon, Friday, in which the Marine Resources Commission and Legislative Committee is going to be meeting with anyone who wants to come in and talk about this. I'm glad to be there.
What generally would you like to accomplish during your time in the Senate?
Well, I don't think there's a simple answer to that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, public policy is complex. It encompasses everything we do in the state. But obviously, the areas that we need to change the most are getting people to work again in jobs. We need them to have the money in their pockets to spend in the local economy and help small businesses grow and get out of this recovery as well. Maine is actually, I think, behind the rest of the nation right now. We didn't gain the small bump in jobs that other states have seen, and we need to change that, both in the short term, addressing what's going on with the recession, which will take a while, but also in the long term. Maine's been losing kinds of industries for years, the furniture factories, shoe factories, seafood canneries, all these kinds of businesses that we've not yet figured out a good strategy as a state, how to replace them and what to replace them with that will provide opportunity for Maine people to earn a decent living here, have a reasonable opportunity for their families and their children, and for their children to stay here when they graduate from a high school and go to vocational school or college or whatever their aspirations are. We need those opportunities here in Maine.
Well, Chris, I understand you have to almost without any rest start running for the legislature again, and you're collecting signatures tonight.
I am.
You got to get back on the battlefield in the fall.
That's very true.
Will you take some rest?
Well, I have a little time tomorrow morning. That's probably it for a while. I have a day job, which I've been working with my employer on. What few days I still have outside the legislature right now to work. Spent some time, as a matter of fact, yesterday, dealing with that and getting some customers' problems resolved and some new systems implemented. So I'm between juggling that and the legislative work, which I take really seriously, I've been spending a lot of time outside of session, even though I'm not in committees yet, studying legislation, getting out and meeting other legislators so I get to know them as people. I think that's important when we're going to be discussing important public policy for people of the state.
You had to jump right into it. You've already had your first vote, so you had to.
But it's both something to be happy about. I won an election, but it's also a really serious obligation to do a good job for people of the state. For me, that's worth working for.
Well, Senator, you have inspired Democrats across the state of Maine. You've made us believe that we can take back the legislature in 2012. I know you and your wife Valerie, who's the county chair here in Lincoln County, did an incredible job in the House with a great group of volunteers. I've been talking to some of them. So congratulations, and I'm proud to say I knew you win.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks
Senator.